All right, so I've got the recording going. I'm just waiting for Peter to pop into the room, and then hopefully we can get the show started. All right, Peter is now joining the room. So this is our very first blab, guys. So let's see how this all kind of works. Hey, Peter, how you doing? I can't hear you now, Pete. Oh. No, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, I love technology and how it works so easily. So I don't know if there's something I need to be doing. But we have no other viewers in the room, so this is okay. Oh, Pete's back. I'm going to make him a co-host. Maybe that'll help. Show callers, accept.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now that's better.
All right.
Cool.
See? Oh, man. In the back here is my studio. This is where I I've got my lighting here, my camera,
Nice.
and then I usually spin around here and then have a chat. And then once I've finished the camera side of things, I turn back around and then start doing the tutorials on the computer.
Oh, yeah, the screen flow.
Or,
yep.
Yeah, or sometimes I'll even move the camera up here so that you can see like the way we can see it now.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Well, I've kind of just hacked this setup together today just to kind of make this recording work. I wanted to be in a bit of a standing position, and I think it's working okay.
Awesome. Well, your volume has gone back down a little bit.
Has it?
But I don't know if that's me. Let me just make sure my volume is all the way up.
Yeah. The microphone is where it was before when we spoke. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So this is also recording. So I guess today we were just going to do a little bit of a chat about our 30-day vlog challenge and do a bit of a recap on how it all went and what we learnt and share some experiences. And hopefully we can extract this video and then load it up to YouTube as my day 30. I don't know what day you're up to, but you could possibly use it at the end of your 30 days as well.
Yeah, cool.
Nice way to kind of finish it off.
Yeah, no worries. So it's a good idea.
Yeah, so I don't know, do we want to share this link and get some people that we know in, or do we want to just keep it private for now? Yeah?
It's up to you, man. Like, I'm happy for it to be public or whichever.
Yeah, because the link that I set up yesterday didn't work.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, Peachy. Are you talking to my phone? Yes, I am. I'm talking to Ray.
Hello. Probably can't hear me. That's funny.
So yeah, we're the only two at the moment on.
I'll just do this and see if anyone wants to join now. So I think you can also share it on your Facebook and also your tweets by using the tweet buttons and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I think it takes a little screenshot of the little blabs that's kind of going on now.
Come join our live blab. What's the value proposition of this? Come join our blab session and learn about
our experience on the vlog challenge? Or?
30-day vlog challenge. Cool. What the hell?
Oh. Peter told a little birdie. It's quite good, I must admit. Like this whole blab thing,
So fast.
So quick. It's so good. I'm gonna give you some props as well. Woo! So you just double click on my screen and it gives it the little props things.
Yeah. Whoa.
Give me some props. So I think props is the way that Blab knows how to rank the lot, because anyone can actually join these. There's like there's a directory of all the blabs that are going on, and I think the more props that people are getting, it's the way that Blab knows that the conversation is good and it will promote it more. That's my early understanding of how it all works. But obviously this is all in beta mode, so they're still learning their system, and yeah. So we have, I think we have some visitors now. So
all right, there is a hack where you can sort of left click and right click, and then it just constantly gives you props nonstop without you even clicking anything.
Oh, look at you hacker! I already know how to do this. Great. All right, cool. So I guess, Pete, if we wanted to dive into a little bit of the content of what we wanted to speak about today, which is, I guess a little bit of a recap of our journey on how the 30-day challenge went. So I might open up with the first question and kind of go, at the start of the 30-day challenge, did you feel that you were able to achieve it?
You know what? I didn't really care about whether or not I was going to achieve it, because all I knew was these challenges are a great way for me personally to get some serious, massive action and traction and momentum.
Yeah.
And so whether or not I wasn't going to be hung up at the start of the race, whether or not I was going to finish it. I was just ready to get started. And then whatever happens, it's a journey, right? It's all an experience. So I was prepared to learn as much as I could. And everything, when I look back at, my past experiences, my past challenges, there's been some serious learnings and discoveries, and it's took me down paths where I go, wow, if I didn't do that, I would not be where I am right now.
Yeah. Understood. And I think for me, it's been the same. I didn't really do the challenge. Like, as much as I love to finish what I start, for me, it was about getting in the habits. And I think the biggest thing for me was to get camera ready, just being comfortable, jumping in front of the camera, recording a video, and getting a little bit of the equipment sorted. I've purchased a few microphones throughout the last 30 days, testing them, seeing how they're going. And, sometimes it is the traditional simple stuff that kind of works the easiest. You don't have to worry about all these joining and moving parts. You kind of just plug in and play, and it keeps it simple. The KISS principle, I guess, sometimes is the easiest way to kind of get things published. A lot of the videos that I've been doing, actually all of them have all been just through my iPhone, using the iPhone 6S. The camera is quite good quality. It's high definition. I did get the Rode microphone, the little lapel microphone, and also this microphone set up here. So it's been good to kind of play around with the different things, but plugging the Rode microphone into my phone, clipping it on me, recording from a phone, any time of the day, it's been really easy to do.
Awesome.
So have you got a question for me?
I guess so. What were the pains in starting? Like, what were the challenges you had, the real uphill battles?
Yeah, I think it was the judgment. Like, I think it was, pushing publish on the first few videos was like, what are people going to think? Did this come across clearly? Was I blabbing too much? Was I saying ums and ahs too much? I think sometimes, I was a little bit conscious about that, but I kind of always at the back of my mind just had that you just need to publish it and it will get better. And, a lot of the great video vloggers at the moment and podcast producers started at the same position. I had to make sure that I wasn't comparing my now with their now, which is they're very much later in their journey. So I think that's a big lesson to kind of learn and just kind of know that, you got to publish and then the feedback will come through and you just naturally get better at it.
True.
And yourself?
For me, it was really pushing my computer to new limits, and then that testing my patience. Like there's been times where, I felt like literally just smashing my fist through something. But you literally just have to take a deep breath and just breathe, and you just have to expect it. Like I can deal with the learning curve personally, but when it comes to hardware and technology, it becomes like, for me, what was happening specifically was, could you just imagine this, right? You're working on your edit. You're working on a particular edit, and the software crashes, and then you open it and you go, crap, that crashed. So you start working on it again, and then within 5-10 seconds it crashes again. Then you open it again and you think, what the hell's going on? This is the very, very first time I experienced this. Then you open it again and it crashes again after like 10 seconds. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? And then I realized I'm going to have to save my computer, save my project every, that's not feasible. You can't save every second. So then I looked into, I use a Linux based operating system. And so as the techie in me said, nah, I've got to find a different distribution. What was I using? Kden. I was using KDE. If all you Linux heads will know KDE. And then I was on the hunt for the best distribution, and it turned out after a good 3 days of testing, XFCE is just really working well. The software that I use, which is Kden Live, it's a video editor. It was actually, my computer is about 7 years old, and for the most part, I typically used it for programming. I used it for graphic design, all that kind of stuff, and it breezed through it. And this was the first time, even playing games, it was fine. But this is the first time my computer was really pushed to its limits, and I guess the video production is very intensive. Video production editing.
Yeah, and I think that's also a part where you and I did a little bit differently. I think you were going down the path of a lot more advanced editing, which looks great from having the titles over your videos and things like that. I took a little bit more of a leaner approach, I guess. I was doing a lot of the edits actually on my phone, so the YouTube app has the ability to put like a soundtrack over your audio, add a couple of filters that kind of wash out some of the light and so forth, and also trim the start and the end. So that was probably the only edits that I was doing where it would be like me turning on my phone and all those type of things. And I kept it a little bit more simple. I had like one straight line. If I stuffed up, I kind of just left it in. That for me worked well. Obviously, I'm still working full time, so I needed to do things very quickly and easily. And it meant that I could edit them very quickly on my phone, submit them through my phone. The biggest challenge was that sometimes the app would fail to upload. So it would get to 80% and then it failed. And even though it has a retry upload button, it just doesn't ever work. So then you have to kind of start again, trim the start end. So that was kind of like my biggest problems, which would be nothing compared to being in the middle of an edit and the computer crashing and things like that. So, so I guess that's kind of the things that I learned from doing my posts and my video and recordings. But I wanted to keep it really simple because I just knew that I didn't have the time to sit there and edit very large, files and I haven't put my computer to that test either. So I will be, because obviously in coming months I will be doing a lot of the podcast editing and so forth. So we'll see how we go. But I have a Mac and I feel that it should be able to support it.
Good.
So why did you do the challenge, Peter? What was the why did you want to do this? What was your why?
My why is basically I definitely wanted to get here's the thing, right? I've been on YouTube for, I think, 2006 or whenever it started. And back when it started, it was pretty crappy. Like, the content was very ordinary, but it was just interesting to see user created video content.
Yeah.
It was almost getting rid of that middleman, the broadcasting and also the programming, the TV basically. And so the reason why is I could see that video was king as far as in all the different types of mediums, content. I knew that video was definitely used the visual and the audio medium, the senses.
Yep, 100% agree with you there.
And so you also can't hide behind, with a blog, you can hide behind, the text. There's no emotion really. But with video, you're pretty much what you see is what you get, what you hear is what you get.
Yep.
I'm sure you can edit out a lot of the things, but it's a more of a closer connection to that person behind on the other end of the camera.
Yeah. 100% agree. So for me, I guess my why was to, just listen to some of the advice of some of the mentors that I'd been around who had constantly been saying, just publish something, just do something. And I guess for me, I wanted to get, a bit of an audience. I wanted to understand, okay, well, I've been blogging, I've been recommending, clients of mine to get on, around video. And I wanted to do a little bit of the walk. I kept talking about video and how it's going to be the way of the future, but I wanted to now partake in it. So I kind of wanted to put a little bit of my own advice to the test and kind of see what video could do for me. So that was my motivating point.
You know what I loved about what you said in I know yesterday you released 2 YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And one of the things you mentioned in one of your videos was it really resonated with me. And that is, I have so much, I really am grateful for YouTube as a platform.
Yep.
And I'm also, the reason for that is because I've actually spent so many hours so around 2006, 2007, I unplugged, totally stopped watching commercial TV.
Yep.
Or cable TV, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And
I moved my attention to YouTube for my entertainment and also to learn. So in my IT, as a former business in IT consulting, I used to do a lot of searches in Google, but then I found out people were uploading how-to videos on YouTube. Yeah. And so I'm not a very strong reader. When it comes to reading, I'm a slow reader. I think I have dyslexia or something. But I love following video tutorials because you can see, and then I can compare, step by step, if my screen is looking exactly the same as what the tutorial video looks like as well.
Yep.
And so I've spent so many, I learned how to program in PHP, JavaScript, all this kind of stuff by watching YouTube videos. So I wanted to give back. This vlog challenge was a way for me to give back, having consumed all these learning for all this time, like taking. Yeah. I felt like now I want to give back to my audience. Yep. In some way, like give back all that value that I've actually experienced, all the ways that I've grown. I hope to also, grow and teach other entrepreneurs, for example, in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely did cover that off and say that, for me, even starting my podcast, Raise the Sharp Show, is that project, for purpose, where it's giving back after all these years of taking. And I said in my video that I'd learned so many things via YouTube, and probably more than what I even learned in my formal education of university. Because, and this is what I love about videos and even all these podcasts. And, I'm starting to listen to a lot more podcasts now than actually reading books, because it's so much more up to date and relevant and now. And it's good too, because the content is archivable, so you can always go back to it. It's always a little bit hard to go back to an audio book and go, what chapter was that in and all that. But with a video, it's a little bit easier to kind of skim through and go, yeah, that's the part I want to rewatch. And even with podcasts, like the information that I'm learning and the interviews that I'm listening to is so now, people are talking about Blab, they're talking about Snapchat. I'm reading marketing books and they're still talking about Twitter. And, it's has been the latest thing. It's so not when we're in this technology age and things move so fast. So I think video and podcasts definitely are upcoming hot, and there'll be more and more of them. And you can be very selective of who you follow and when you follow and what episodes you listen to and what you watch through. So when you're reading a book, you kind of have to go from chapter 1 all the way to the end and go in that sequential order. But I think these days we live in a society where you might want to watch the latest podcast, then go back to a podcast from 2 years ago, and then come back to, the second last podcast and listen to it in that order, because that matches more what you want to learn. So you've got more control in the content that you digest. I wanted to cover off a little bit about the analytics of YouTube as well. So I know that, you've been studying quite heavily in the analytics side of things of YouTube. What can you share about how Google and YouTube are treating videos based on the analytics?
Okay, so the top 2 search engines at the moment are Google and YouTube. And that's just mind-boggling, because obviously Google is doing something right, and Google is definitely doing something right by YouTube, at least the platform. And it's interesting what you were saying, how about the relevance and the newness, the fresh content that's available out there on YouTube. A lot of it comes down to video content creators who know how to read their analytics. Like in anything, there's a saying that is, what gets measured gets improved.
Yep.
And so it's the good thing about YouTube is there's 2 main metrics, 2 main sets of numbers that you want to focus on. One is watch time, which is how long someone has watched one of your videos, all of your videos. And the other is session time. Session time is how long someone has watched one video, and then instead of leaving and watching someone else's, they continue to watch another video. And then they continue to watch another one of your videos, all of your videos. Like, how long do they spend sitting and watching your videos?
Yeah, right.
The reason why that's important.
Yeah, and why is that important? Is it just for the video producer to know, or does it actually change the way Google and YouTube rank your videos?
Well, it's so organic. Like, put it this way, YouTube wants to have high quality content on their platform.
Yeah.
And so how do they encourage people or the viewers to come back to YouTube and stay glued to YouTube as their media channel? It's by really getting as much value back from your selected channels, for example. And it's a very important thing. Like free to air, for example, right? Why is it that we watch Neighbours? That's still on channel? That's still on TV, right, these days?
I think so. I haven't watched TV in years. So.
Well, those shows that happen every single. There's a series.
Night. Every night at the same time. Yep.
Yeah, there's a reason for that hook. Why people are hooked to a show, and that is called session watch time, where you come back to the next show and it leaves you, sitting on the edge of your seat, cliffhanger, and you think, oh damn it, now I've got to watch it next week. There's a science to it.
Yep.
And so YouTube wants to promote those kind of videos where not only are you creating one video, but you're creating a chain of videos. And how as a video content creator, how you do that is by creating a playlist.
Cool. And
I'm a big sucker for playlists, because one of the things I used to watch and enjoy watching is, because my computer was too crap, and also the fact that I'd get addicted, was watching people playing computer games.
Right. Okay.
I loved watching people play computer games. It's like I'm actually sitting in their lounge room, chilling out with them.
Right. Okay.
And some of these games might take 4 hours to 40 hours to play from start to end. And obviously they're not going to record one 40-hour video. So what they do is they chop it up into short 10-minute videos and chain it across a season kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Tutorials, rather than recording a 2-hour tutorial, these guys actually chop it up into parts and put it into a playlist.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you increase your watch time for individual videos as well as the overall session time, YouTube will just push those videos, the ranking of those videos when someone does a search, or while you're watching a video on the right-hand side, you'll see the recommended videos. Mm-hmm. It will also make sure that your videos are showing up there recommended. So, for example, if you're watching a so-so video about how to create a vlog, if it's okay, if it's pretty fresh content, on the right-hand side, it may recommend one of your videos if it's part of a playlist and if it shows it has a high watch time and all that kind of stuff.
I've actually noticed that as well, because I've been adding all my 30-day blog challenges to the playlist, into the same playlist, and I have noticed that, pretty much the right-hand side column has been literally filled up with all my little thumbnails, which is good, because if someone enjoys the content, then they're more likely to link and watch more. And I think this is what happens with a lot of the big YouTube content creators. I think you mentioned something really good then as well, where it's getting a long piece of content and breaking it up. It's something I kind of refer to as micro content. And I think it's, these days we live in a society that is so fast paced that, I don't really know that there are a lot of people who have the time to sit there and watch a 3-hour tutorial. So breaking it up into smaller chapters and bite size, and, it's a little bit more easier to digest in our brains as well, because these days everyone's multitasking. There's chat windows going, there's you're watching or reading a tutorial, but you're also chatting on Facebook. So there's a lot more distractions these days than what the traditional classroom style would have. So I think too many times people try and create tutorials online and treat it as if they have a classroom environment that's controlled. But I think we need to remember that the audience has a billion things going on. So giving them that quick micro content means that they can be a lot more engaged. And I guess, it means that you're going to go have a viewer that goes from video 1 to video 2, video 3, and video 4. So, and if they don't continue on, then maybe your content's not right for them and you appeal to the right audience. So how have you found, it's probably a good segue. How have you found your audience? Did you feel that your videos changed as you discovered more and more who your audience was, or are you still in the process of defining your audience or your ideal listener?
Okay, so that's a very good question, because I knew that I had to be different, because there are a lot of established teachers out there, and that's why I looked at what my passions are and what my interests are, my skills.
Yeah.
And my interests are business and being efficient, working efficiently and improving constantly, leveraging technology, and also teaching. And so I knew that I needed to be create content that leverages all those things, those passions, the interests, and the skills, and find a target market that is a perfect match.
Yeah.
And at the start, I was very confused. I didn't know. I was thinking, should I do marketing? Well, marketing's not my thing. I feel like it's niche. And I looked at who are my friends, what kind of groups I'm associated with. Like, for example, ESC, Entrepreneur Social Club.
Yep. And
it's only fitting that if we were already part of the vlog challenge, and if we're already posting our daily videos on the Entrepreneur Social Club Facebook group, then why not? It seems like the answer's right in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I immediately did the same thing. I guess for my audience, it was more about being around the the entrepreneurial space. So small to medium business owners, people who are in startups. And I think I did the same, where initially I didn't know exactly who my audience were, but then I kind of realized, well, I'm posting my videos to the Entrepreneur Social Club Facebook page, which has some really good conversations and really good like-minded people and some great events, pretty much every week. So why not, steer the conversation to be a little bit more around what that audience is after? And I think that audience there is so diverse that if you appeal to even half of the people in that room, that Facebook page, you're going to appeal to a very large group of people as well. So, outside of that group. So yeah, I think that's definitely audience is a big player. But I think at the start it's just about taking that massive action, I guess, and then letting that kind of define itself. I think too often people sit behind these these frameworks and go, well, I don't know who my ideal audience is, and I don't know how my video structure is going to be, and I don't know all these things. So then they never get started. And I think, with the 30-day challenge, it's something that kind of got sprung as an idea, and we kind of just went, yeah, let's run with it. And so we had no other option but to make it work. And I think sometimes when you put yourself in that hot seat, it is a really good way of just getting shit done.
That's cool.
Is there anything else you want to share? I know you've kind of explored a little bit in regards to the hardware. So how have you gone with the hardware side of things?
Hey, you know what? When you moved your mic really close to your face, close to your mic, it was excellent.
Okay. Yeah. Well, these microphones tend to be ones that you need to actually talk into. I think
it was on the side of the mic.
Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe. Okay. Cool. Well, I'll play around with it. So maybe more like that.
You can actually see the mic if you look through the light. You can see the little.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where. Anyway, like hardware. That's an interesting thing. I'm the kind of guy that tests a lot. I'm the guy that before before Google Maps, I used to drive down a path and then wonder, what if I took that road? Would I get somewhere quicker? Yep. So I'm always testing to see and measuring and seeing, okay, that's the best way. With hardware, I started off with a camera, a DSLR, which is here. This is something that we already had. Mm-hmm. Trace, my wife, bought this when our Peachy was born, a 2-year-old now, and it was sitting in the cupboard for ages because it's one. Now we've got phones to take cameras, right?
Yeah.
And so I was originally going to use my phone to record 1080p and all that kind of stuff, but there's something about a DSLR camera and the quality of the image is just so much better. This camera actually records at 720p, but even though it's lower resolution, I'm still more interested in getting the quality of the image right.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is I had the like you were mentioning the Rode lapel mic.
Yep.
I got that straight away. I also bought these lights pretty earlier on. They're about $60 or $70 from eBay.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was quite impressed by is how affordable a lot of the technology is these days. I thought, when I first kind of started doing it, I thought, if I'm going to go pro, I'm going to need hundreds and hundreds of dollars to just buy everything. But like the Rode mic was $60 delivered. The light boxes that you speak about around the same price, like less than $500, you can really get a nice little setup going. So
yeah. Yep. Well, the most I think the most expensive component is the camera in that whole lot.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about camera, but yeah, just all the little side things. So, what else do you use?
And then I also built this baby with it's a homemade teleprompter.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So this is a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
The tablet goes into the actual tablet, the box that the tablet came in. This is just a picture frame.
Classic.
And so you put that in there. It reflects the light from the tablet. And then I made a hole in the back of this box. So it's just a comfy box. And then that goes into the camera's lens. And it's a home-hacked teleprompter.
Right. Interesting.
I used that at the start of the vlog, and it just seemed like I was still reading from the teleprompter and not didn't feel like I was engaged. So I stopped using the teleprompter altogether. Yeah. And then I went into using my writing things on paper. Then I went into using my whiteboard, and now where I'm at is I'm back to using the teleprompter, but this time I've actually got a script, like a templated script, and the idea is me to use the teleprompter and use the template script so that I'm saying the same things again and again. So eventually I won't need for example, the parts of the script that are templated are like the welcome intro phrase, hey, welcome, hey entrepreneurs, all that kind of stuff. The what I'm going to be talking about in the video, that phrase, and then the ending is very important. Like, for example, at the end of the video, the script is saying something. Actually, I'll share this with anyone that wants it, my template script, because all I did was I observed what the YouTube creators, how they've structured their videos. And so towards the end, it's like, if they have any questions about this video, how they can ask those questions, or my YouTube, my social channels, how they can get in touch with me. And then I also talk about in the next video what we're talking about, so priming them for the next video. Yeah, and I think that's why planning is really important, because I know that some days I don't know what my next video is going to be about. Yeah. So creating those segues and what we're going to be talking about next. When I did my 7-part series about 7 ways to crush digital marketing online, that was actually really good, because I knew exactly what I was going to be talking about today, what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. I can revisit things that we spoke about yesterday. And I think the big lesson when it comes to video creation and podcast is that people want consistency. So I don't think people get bored from those intros and outros being consistent. You look at a lot of the pro bloggers and pro vloggers, is that their intro and what they do at the start and the end is always almost identical. And I think that consistency works really well. And doing, like a little script is good. We've lost your sound, man. Hello? Yep, better, yeah. Oh, cool. What you just mentioned there, that consistency, it's part of your brand. Yeah. It's where all of a sudden in the middle of the day, you'll just be randomly singing the jingle, or you'll be behaving like that person that you always watch every day or whenever. It's like, oh man, why am I talking like that guy, or why am I singing that tune? Yeah, and I do the same with podcasts that I follow. It's yeah. So because they're so consistent, it's every day the same thing in my ear. So yep. So that's my hardware at the moment. I'm going back to, again, testing. I'm always constantly testing and observing what the veterans do, because they've done something that's worked. It's brought them to their current rate of success, right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So I guess we will look at wrapping this up. Is there anything else that you kind of wanted to share, from your experience over the last 30 days? Any tips, tricks, or just thoughts and feelings? Well, if you're seriously considering moving into YouTube content creation, then definitely join. And if you're from Melbourne or from your whatever city you're from, join the Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, join the Facebook group for, in my case, I've joined the Melbourne YouTube video creators. Yep. And also the Melbourne YouTube videos. They're two separate groups. One group is for Melbourne-based YouTube video creators to talk about video and meetups and things like that. And the other group is where if you're a Melbourne-based video creator, you can actually post your videos in that group, and at least there's a small little community, local, who can give you feedback and all that kind of stuff. Nice. The other is on Reddit. There is a YouTube creators subreddit, so you can actually ask for feedback. It's awesome. Like, you can actually, it's not about dumping and spamming your videos for the sake of getting views, but this is to get real feedback, to how to improve on your videos. Cool, excellent. And I think that's a great thing about Facebook as well, is that there's so many hidden groups. And I've done the same with the podcast. I've joined a lot of the closed podcast groups on Facebook, because I get to see
there's pro podcasts that have the same technical issues as someone who's just about to start up. And I think sometimes it just makes it, you just kind of make it feels more real to go, well, I'm not in this alone. And when you can get around a community of like-minded individuals who are kind of on the same mission and purpose, it's definitely a great little secret. And, now when I jump on Facebook, a lot of the stuff that I'm reading is all about check out this plugin or look at this tool, or I've just, done this really cool, neat hack. And you're kind of learning as other people are sharing. And I think that's a really good way to kind of, make the whole community better. So if we kind of, like the tide rising lifts all ships, if as a community, everyone who's creating video content can help each other win, then the entire community gets elevated. So I think that's a really good parting bit of advice. I think from my point of view, the biggest lesson I've learned, and I keep banging on about it, but it's just publish the content. Like, I feel like so many people have written blogs that are sitting in draft, and they've got so many videos that they've recorded, but they're waiting to edit them to have titles and intros and outros. I think at the start, just start publishing, because there's no point spending 30, 40 minutes on a video that might get 12 views. And I don't think 12 views now is a really bad thing, but I think that it's all part of the journey. You need to start somewhere where you have 12 views, and then eventually it'll be 12,000 views and then 1.2 million views. And I think it's all part of the journey. And if you never start publishing something and getting those low number of views, well, you're never going to jump on that journey that's going to lead to that success target at the end. So, yeah, I think my biggest tip and learning has been just to start publishing and start doing.
And improving, constantly improve.
100%. But, continual learning. And that's exactly what Razor Sharp Show is all about, is that journey of continual learning. I think that we need to be learning right until, the last breath that we take, because, if you're not learning, you're going backwards. And, you don't know what you don't know until you...
If you're not learning, you're dead.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I completely agree. So I think, especially with the way that technology is changing and all these new tools, Periscope, Blab, you need to be learning. And, there are people who are making shitloads of money from leveraging these platforms, even Snapchat. The conversation on Snapchat is so focused and targeted that people are listening. It's probably the only platform where people don't tune out on, so, and they can be selective whether they listen to your story or not. So I think these type of platforms, there's a new platform that I've kind of discovered, which is called Anchor. I don't know. Have you heard of Anchor?
So it doesn't ring a bell.
It's an audio program, and you record like a thought, and then other people keep anchoring their thought onto it. It becomes like a conversation, and it's voice. So it's kind of like a Facebook channel where you ask a question, and then everyone gets to put on their opinions and so forth. So that's another platform that I'm kind of playing around with, and I'm definitely going to be using it as possibly even a way of asking questions during a podcast show, releasing an anchor, and then listening to the dialogue carry on even after the show has been published and moved on. So it's great.
Cool.
All right, excellent. Well, I think we're tapping on to over half an hour now, so I think we'll wind this up. Is there any final thoughts or ideas that you kind of had, or?
No, I think we've covered, all that kind of stuff. It's all
excellent.
Good.
Cool, perfect. Well, thanks a lot, Peter. We'll try and find a way of downloading this recorded segment and put it up on our YouTube channels, which is awesome. A great way of repurposing media, which is another one of my favorite things. Do it once and then repurpose it.
Right on.
Excellent. Thanks, Peter. We'll talk on Skype shortly.
You're welcome, Ray. All right, catch you.
Have a good one. Take care. Now how to stop this thing.
Well, we can always...
Let me pause.